transparent public conversation on race, not knowing what we would encounter from one another. Once we agreed to try this, we met face to face virtually and discussed ground rules for our work. We weren't working in the dark with these ground rules. I'm experienced at having hard conversations and leading individuals and groups through them. These are guidelines I've tested in my personal life, work life, and church life. Now Saundra and I are testing them here in a new arena. We each initiated certain chapters, and we responded to each other's specific questions without pre-discussing them. We just wrote and sent the raw material on to the other writer. That was scary, but it most closely mimics the conversations we're encouraging everyone to have. There was an advantage in that we'd be exploring this topic as we got to know one another. That is precisely the situation with many of you, making new connections and entering this conversation with people you don't know well. Like you, we faced our own fears on this project. You will see glimpses of this along the way. Saundra responded to the project with a gutsy enthusiasm that inspired and frightened me at the same time. She had immediate ideas about transparent modeling, open dialogue, and being hard to offend, which made me believe we could do this. In one of our first conversations about ground rules, I blurted out one of my many concerns. We have such a shared vision for this project. I'm half afraid we'll have to work through disagreements along the way, and half afraid we won't, and the book won't be of any use. She responded with unhesitating confidence. Oh, don't worry, we'll have disagreements. I gulped and asked God to supply me with courage moving forward. I plowed ahead for these reasons. First, God opposes the proud, and I desire to cultivate a humble spirit. As my blind spots, prejudices, and wrong thinking are exposed through this conversation, it will provide more fuel in my spiritual battle against pride. As uncomfortable as that is, humility pleases God. Second, while like many of my friends, I don't believe that I'm a racist. I do believe I have much to learn about brothers and sisters of color and their experience of Jesus, the church, and life on this planet. I'm confident there are ways I can grow and change to be a better representative of Christ in their lives and to demonstrate love in ways that are meaningful to them. I trust that God will use this process to show me attitudes and sinful mindsets I won't see if I don't bring my thoughts into the light. Third, to love is to listen. Part of our ministry as believers is to witness one another's lives and in love, listen to one another's stories. I want to hear Saundra's experience as a Jesus-loving woman of color, living and raising sons in the South. I want to be present with her and hard to offend out of love for her. I want to lay down my self-defensiveness the way Jesus laid down his life. Listening is one step forward we can all take. One simple way we can be part of the solution. I'm also excited that Saundra is willing to listen and love to what it's like to be Christian and white in these times of racial tensions. If she and I can help to alleviate fears and open doors for others to have these conversations, then I want to present myself for the challenge and trust God to help me rise to it. What you'll hear in the upcoming chapters is the dialogue Saundra and I had in writing, wherein we discuss 12 questions leading to 12 steps every Christian can take toward racial healing. We created ground rules for our conversation that you'll find toward the end of the book. There's a reason for presenting them there. Saundra will explain.
Saundra. It may seem odd to present the 7 keys for hard conversations in the next to last chapter of this book. Let me share with you some of the reasoning behind this decision. Let's consider treating bias, stereotypes, and prejudice in the same way one would approach treating a medical problem. How can you develop a medicine to treat an illness if you do not know what brought it on in the first place?